Hi guys, Mary Beth Temple here from Hooked for Life, and in this video we're going to make this little burlap country style angel. This is great for your Christmas tree or to go as a package wrapper, and we're making it with just a tiny bit of sewing and a tiny bit of gluing, and we're going to make it out of circles and squares, so it's really easy to measure out and make. So let's get started on the fabric prep. Okay, so in the interest of not having to go crazy and print a pattern for a circle, basically what I do is go in the closet and find just a big circular plate. I need it to be at least 10 inches across. This one's 10 3/4. I literally went into the closet here at the studio and found one. It could be 11 inches, it could be 12 inches, but nothing smaller than 10 because the burlap's a little fiddly. And then I'm just marking around it with marking chalk, and I'm going to make 2 of these the same size. So we're going to take one of the cut out circles and just a little fistful of stuffing, and we're going to put it in the center of the circle. And again, we're just going to finesse it down. This is for our little angel's head. So you want it as circular as it can be. You don't want her to look like a scarecrow. Which is a real possibility using burlap. But I'm just finessing the fabric, finessing the fabric, finessing the fabric, trying to get it towards the center. And again, accuracy is not an issue as much as being happy with how she looks. So when I get her about where I want her to be, I'm going to use a needle and thread. Now I had my thread held double and I knotted the 2 ends together, so I'm just going to, it's difficult to just put a knot in the burlap because the fabric's so big. So I just did a little overhand knot there, and then I'm just going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it 4 or 5 times. See, there's my little head. If I need to pull anything down, now's the time to do it. Pull it up tight, just wrap it a couple times, and then I'm going to use the needle and just knot the yarn, knot the thread off. So that's my top half. So the next thing I'm going to do, I have my second circle. I'm going to spread the fabric out of the top piece. It's okay if a little of that stuffing's hanging out. I'm going to center it. So I'm going to center the piece with the head on top of the plain piece, like that. And using a needle and thread, I'm just going to take a couple of stitches right here and sew the 2 pieces together. So I want to talk just a little bit about the gold trim that I suggested you use. You want something with some stiffness. See how this can stand up on its own? Don't get something that's floppy. You want it to have a little bit of gumption because it just helps hold everything together. So I'm going to take a piece of this trim and I'm going to bring it behind her little neck. And cross it in the front. So now what I want to do, again, this is more art than science. I'm sort of holding everything down. I want to pull out 2 folds so that they look sort of like arms. So the 2 folds that are closest to the outside of our little friend here, I'm going to treat those like they are her arms. So now one side of the gold goes underneath the arm and around to the back. And the other piece of gold goes around her arm and underneath to the back. And then the side that is attached to the spool is going to come all the way around again to the front to sort of a little waist accent here. All right, so it started behind the neck, crossed over in the front under what I'm calling the arms. They're not specifically arms, but again, you're just going to pull up a fold of the fabric. Once I get them overlapped in the back right here, I'm going to put that down either with a dab of hot glue, or I'm going to sew that down in one place, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. Now this is a little bit hard to see because I have white sheer fabric on a white background and you can't see the sheer fabric anyway, but this is my 20-inch square of tulle and I'm going to make the wings out of this. So I'm going to put it on a diamond shaped sort of angle and I'm going to bring the 4 points into the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. And with my needle and thread, I'm going to take just a couple of sloppy stitches to hold it together. Again, I don't need to do a ton to it, I just want to make sure it's not flying away. Ha! Wings flying. That was a terrible joke. So now I have this little box. So I'm going to grab the top and the bottom and pull those together. And I'm going to wrap the thread just a couple of times to hold the shape. Oh my goodness, it does not want to behave today. There we go. So not too tight, just wrap it a couple of times to hold the shape, and then I'm going to do the same thing side to side. Now I don't want it to be, if I'm going, the center one that I just did is smack in the center, but the one I'm going to do now, I want a little more fabric towards the top than the bottom because this is going to make our angel wings a little taller at the top than the bottom. So I'm going to wrap, once again, just a couple of times. 1, 2, and then knot off the thread. So now here are my angel wings, and just fluff them until they make you happy. A little bit shorter at the bottom, a little bit taller at the top, and they're going to go right on her back. You have 2 choices. Again, you can hot glue, or you can use your needle and thread to sew them down so that they're right on her back. And then the only thing you have to do after that, you're going to get one little piece of the gold trim, fold it into a circle, and again, this is why I told you wanted some trim that's stiff, because to make our little halo here, we want it to stand up on its own. We don't want it to be too flippy floppy. And once again, you can either put that into place with a dab of hot glue, or you can take 2 little stitches and sew that in. And that's all there is to our rustic angel. Thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Mary Beth Temple for Hooked for Life, and I hope you had a great time making our little angel. You can go ahead and make your whole choir now and decorate your house for the holidays.